Alright guys, this is a kit we've had a lot of requests for. This is the Sparrows MONSTRUM XXL. $139 Canadian, works out to 108 US with the exchange rate. Case is pretty impressive, I gotta say. This is their what they call their Sherman case, but they have this, it almost looks like some kind of snake skin, but they call this Cryptek Typhon. It's just nylon, but it does have a kind of a cool pattern on it. Nylon zipper, and when you open it up, you are overwhelmed with, this thing is chock full of picks. 10 right up there on both sides. You open it up and you see that there's a whole slew more, and even more impressive are all of these tension wrenches jammed up in here. So rather than try to take it all in, they say that this is a combination of their Monstrum plus their Whizwazzle kit. So let me go ahead and take this out, lay everything out logically, and we're going to cover everything one at a time, the way we're supposed to. Well, when you get everything out of the case, you suddenly realize that the camera frame is just not going to be big enough. So we're going to have to do this in segments. Let's first take a look at all of the tension wrenches. And I count them, there's 22 different tension wrenches. We got both bottom of the keyway, and we have 6 sets of bottom of the keyway, 3 different widths in each set. And then we have 4 top of the keyway, again varying sizes. Let's take a look at some of the details. I'll just grab these as an example. Each of the 6 sets has 3 different widths. Now these aren't in order, but let's start with that middle one, which is the smallest one. It's 0.09 inches wide, which is the same as 2.4 millimeters. The middle size is 0.12 inches, which is 2.8 millimeter, and then the largest one is 0.13 inches, which is 3.2 millimeter. This one happens to be the Z. We have a short end and a long end for both flush face locks and inset locks. I really like the Z's. It kind of gives you a lot of flexibility. But speaking of flexibility, you also have this one, which is kind of a 90-degree twist. I'm not a fan of these, and I'll tell you why. I like mine stuff to fit flat in the case, and this leaves one, no matter which way you turn it, one end or the other is going to be pointing up. But I'll usually put another twist in this. But again, you have the same 3 widths, and this one has a flex, so you can use either the long end or the short end and get the benefit of the flex out of it. If you only like one length, then you have the tools for that as well. Again, the same 3 widths in the long handled with the twist to give you that flex. If you like to bend your own tension wrenches, this is a good foundation to start with. If you work with smaller locks, here again you got the twist with the same 3 widths. If you don't like the twist, again, you also have that option. It's every possible combination I can imagine. Straight L, that's a long one, and then the short L with the 3 widths. Moving to the top of the keyway, we have also 2 different widths. These 2 are the dog ear, and they are serrated, again a long end, and both of them are serrated, and then the short end for flush face locks. The widths on these, the thick one is 0.32 inches, which is 0.83 millimeter, and then the thin one is 0.27 inches, which is 0.68 millimeter. You also get 2 additional ones, and they are not dog-eared. Maybe one end, I think this one is dog-eared, but the others are made for wider keyways to let you fit into the top of the keyway on both of those as well. These can also be used as bottom of the keyway if you prefer. So there you go. Those are the 22 different tension wrenches. I can't imagine that they could have come up with any other possible permutation of ways to twist these. So no matter what your preferences are, I think you can find something here that you can make work. Let's put these away, and I'm going to lay out all the picks, and let's take a look at those. All right, even splitting this kit up, still not easy to fit into the frame, but here's what we got, 21 different picks. Now, on the website they say this is a combination of 2 kits, and that would be the Whizwazzle, which I've kind of sorted on to this side, and then the Monstrum. And when you combine the 2, that's when you get the Monstrum XXL. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at the Whizwazzle. By the way, all of these are 25 thousandths of an inch stick, all stainless steel 301. This is the Snake Rake, and Sparrows on their website calls this the Best Buster. But pretty nice. The coating, I think, they're dipped a little bit deeply. You might have to take a razor, cut some of that off to get the maximum length of this, but all of the dip picks are going to be like that. You get a twin peak, and I don't know if you want me to pick these all up individually, but going to do it. Twin peak, and you can see when you start looking closely, these are going to take a little bit of TLC with some sandpaper to clean them up. And by the way, this yellowish coating is a byproduct of the dipping process. You get the worm and the triple peak. I use these two myself all the time. The worm is on top, kind of rounded edges, like a short Bogota or short triple peak. And it's really neat for getting into those smaller keyways. When the bottom one, the Bogota, is too big to get in there, you can usually fit that snake rake. You get a half diamond, and it's pretty good shape. Again, it takes a little bit of cleaning up, but every commercial pick is going to take that. The next one, you're going to get a steep hook. They call it a steep, I call it a deep, but just terminology. And then the next one here is called an offset hybrid. This is one of the unique picks to Sparrows, and you're going to see several more of the unique ones, some of them without even any names that come with the Monstrum kit. You get a standard hook, and this has a very fine tip, as all of the hooks do from Sparrows. You get a city rake or L rake. And after that, we get a shallow Euro hook. It's a little bit thicker. And when I look at this one, I think this is more like a standard hook, but they call this the shallow Euro hook. And then the last one they call a high reach. A lot of guys like to use this because it has, hope it comes out, it has a little notch in the tip there to help you position this directly under the pin to make sure the tip of that key pin is perfectly placed right in that notch. All right, that constitutes the Whizwazzle, this and all of those tension wrenches that you saw. Now let's take a look at what is in the Monstrum alone. The first, this is our pride and joy. This is one of their flagship products, I think. This is called their Octo Rake. And they say this looks oversized, and I got to tell you, it really does to me too. When I hold it up next to a triple peak, it's quite large. The frequency between those humps is much wider than a triple peak, but you can't argue with success. The thing does work. It's got some neat laser engraving of an octopus there. And the rest of these, I'm going to have to tell you, I don't know what their names are. The website does not name them. I have seen hooks like this in the Fall Safe kit, and I have used picks like this. They're usually used in high security locks like Medicos because it makes it easier to reach into the back and manipulate those pins to rotate them to the right angle before you push them up to the correct height. Two different sizes here. You also get, again, I'm going to pull up two of these at a time. Starting now, we're going to start moving into different depths of hooks. So this is a very, very slight hook, and then one just a little bit deeper, and you see they've kind of machined off the top to give you a little bit extra reach. And then this is one I've never seen before. This would be for rotating pins, I would imagine, and it would make it easy also to zip locks with that rounded edge there to yank it out of the lock very quickly. And then a medium hook, and this is shaped a lot. I use a pick like this from Peterson called the Reach, although the front of this one has a slightly steeper angle on it. And the reason that they put that is when you start picking the lock, the top of that angle becomes more flush with the picks the higher up that you reach. This is the equivalent of a medium hook, and I do like that style of pick very, very much. And these last three, let me pick them all up at one time. They don't call these the SS Dev set of hooks, but the angle on these are very, very similar. They are shaped a little bit differently. So in the SS Dev, you have a slight hook, and this is makes it easier to get up inside of Euro locks. Again, slightly deeper, and then the third one reaches deeper than than the other two, and this is the deepest hook in the entire Monstrum kit. On first glance, it kind of looks like a deforced diamond, but if you look very closely at that tip, you can see it's not quite a diamond. It's a much finer tip to let you really reach up there and reach those high-cut pins. So there you go, 21 picks, and I think it's pretty clear after going through these no-name picks on this side. These are kind of specialty items. So when we look at the Whizwazzle, I would classify the Whizwazzle kit with all of those tension wrenches clearly as everything you need in a beginner's kit. No question, super kit. When we start to get here, this is more of an advanced pick set. So the XXL, when you add in the Monstrum portion, which is all of these here, that truly would be a more advanced kit. Beginners really wouldn't find a lot of use for these. In fact, some of these, like this DeForest, and that's what I'm going to call it, could be quite delicate. So a beginner, you know, I don't know about you guys, but when I was a beginner, I tried to pry my locks open, like every pick was a pry bar. These are more delicate and they're going to get bent. So if you've moved up, you've advanced to the point where you're picking high security locks, you know, it takes a little bit of finesse. These are the finesse picks, I think, that you'd probably want to try to use. So for a beginner, is this the kit? Probably not. I would probably recommend going with the Wizwazzle kit. If you're an advanced picker and you've progressed to the point where you're attacking high security locks and you want some of these specialty picks, clearly this would be a great pick set for you. The cost of this is, like I said, $139 Canadian, which is $108 US. If you buy just the kit separately, for example, if you're a beginner, you just want this one, the Wizwazzle, that's going to be $79 Canadian. And then later, if you wanted to add in the Monstrum, that's another $79 for a total of, it's like 160 bucks Canadian, which is 126 US. So what I'm trying to tell you is if you buy it all at once, you can basically save yourself about $20 US. So there you go, the Monstrum XXL. It took a little longer than our normal review, but there's a lot in this kit that we had to talk about. Anyway, fellas, if you'd like to have this kit, go to the website and register. This is going to be one of the fan appreciation giveaways. Thanks for your time. Stay safe. Stay legal.